Hello, anime fans. I am Professor Capricorn. I'm a researcher on all things related to geek culture. I absolutely love the weapons used in anime, from the classics like swords and guns to the heavy artillery of giant mechas and energy cannons. But within the midst of these phenomenally powerful tools are the types of weapons that seem pretty unorthodox, unusual, odd, or even strange. The list I have prepared today is my top 10 strangest anime weapons list. These are the weapons that make us go, what the fuck, faster than Cana can chuck a keg. Now, some ground rules. I won't use more than one weapon per anime, and if that weapon just so happens to be full of strange weapons, I'll just pick the one that seems strangest in my opinion. All weapons are judged by uniqueness and fatality rate, so no mediocre weapons that don't have the potential to kill. The intent of this video is to show the various weapons created in the anime, and in no way is meant to offend the writers, the anime, or anyone who might like these weapons, or the anime itself. Well, now that that's all said and done, let's go ahead and get this started. Number 10. You know what's awesome? Yeah, I know, I had that joke coming. But seriously, you know what's awesome? Boxing. You know what else is awesome? Cats, especially cat videos. You know what else is awesome? Street Fighter. But definitely Street Fighter 5. You gotta check it out, for real. So, what would you say to a female anime character with cat-themed boxing gloves beating the ever-living shit out of street thugs? Well, the big bad wolf character personification Ryoko Okami from Okami-san and Earth 7 Companions may just be the anime out there for you people with some good taste in anime. Okami's Neko Knuckles are basically boxing gloves shaped like cat heads and electrified. I am still to this day mystified as to how it can stun opponents multiple times without any need for a change of batteries. Maybe it uses some kind of Hello Kitty charging station or something, I don't know. But probably the most notable trademark of this weapon is the cute little cat face imprint the gloves leave behind after zapping the victims to paralysis. They make it on this list because of their creative and design and use. Not to mention that they complement the famous Sundeer character quite nicely. Number 9. Everyone who thinks samurai swords are cool, please raise your hand. Now, who here would like a samurai sword with the sharp edge of the blade on the opposite side of the sword? My point exactly. First of all, katanas are curved edge blades, and because of this, it makes it really easy to attack an opponent while attempting to unsheathe the sword, kinda like a sneak attack. But not if that blade is on the opposite side of the sword. You may as well be attacking with a refurbished broom handle. Second of all, having the blade on the opposite side of the sword pretty much defeats the purpose of it being a sword. Swords are meant to slice through things. They are meant to be sharp-edged weapons meant for cutting people in half or decapitating them or cutting off limbs. If you didn't really want to actually cut someone, then just use like a blunt force weapon. Or maybe you just get yourself one of those wooden swords to prevent yourself from actually cutting someone. Like my man Roanoke Kenshi from Samurai X, who uses his own version of reverse blade katana. But his reason for using it is a little absurd. He wants to actually prevent himself from killing someone again. Dude, why don't you just get a wooden sword? You'd still be upholding your code, and I'm pretty sure you look even more badass by turning a simple wooden toy into a deadly weapon. Bottom line, this weapon should never have existed. It's impractical, it's stupid, and it pretty much defeats the purpose of any blade used in anime. Number 8. Boomerangs are fun, aren't they? You throw them, they always come back. You can cleave your opponent in half like a holiday ham. Wait, what? Yep. Boomerangs have become a pretty reliable projectile weapon to be used in combat. Some characters in the anime world, like Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender, has a small bladed boomerang that usually helps him make a comeback. Get it? Comeback? No? Okay. Or Sango from Inuyasha, who carries a cumbersomely large wooden one that somehow is capable of slicing through a whole horde of demons. Seriously, how does she even carry that thing? It must weigh a ton. Now, let's look at this from a real-world perspective.
In real life, boomerangs always come back to the thrower because of what's known as gyroscopic precision. The throw of a boomerang gives it angular velocity perpendicular to the path thrown. The cross section is an airfoil which gives it more lift on the top leading edge than on the bottom. This gives it something of a torque. Since it will tend to fly in the direction of the airfoil, the precision causes it to fly in a curved path back towards the thrower. Now keep in mind that this is a projectile flying towards you at high speed. The amount of force you'll be hit with depends on the boomerang's mass and what material that's made out of. Assuming since Sokka's boomerang is made out of some type of metal, likely iron or something, is usually seen being thrown long distances, you can guarantee that it is flying at a high enough velocity to come back with enough force to cleave your hand off or even decapitate you. Since Sango's boomerang is strong enough to slice a centipede demon's rock-hard skin, you can guess that it'll come back with enough momentum to break several bones or even cut you in half. The boomerang is a pretty terrifying toy with dangerous repercussions. If it's okay with you guys, I'll stick with my katana.
Number 7. With a name like Read or Die, I figured it would be one of those gimmicky shows to get lazy people to read. But while it didn't really inspire me to read any more books than I normally do, it did give me a new appreciation for what I always assumed to be
worthless piece of paper.
Paper in this anime is remarkably versatile, destructive, and constructive in its use in combat. Paper masters like Maggie, Michelle, and Anita can telekinetically manipulate paper to do anything they want, from shoot torrents of damage-inducing paper, creating durable shields, creating melee weapons, or using it in other creative ways. Seriously, do they just take all the paper within the surrounding area to use for their own purposes? I mean, imagine if you're just a casual reader just sitting in the library or standing in the bookstore reading your favorite magazine or book, and all of a sudden all the paper just suddenly flies out of the book and you can't finish the story. I mean, they're just stealing a lot of paper to use for their own purposes. I know they have their reasons, but still, people want to read, you know. Paper is a weapon to be admired for power, versatility, and more importantly, creativity. How else should I put it? That'll do it. Number 6.
Probably the most bizarre and resourceful forms of body manipulation I have ever seen in anime. Just like paper, blood is a remarkably versatile tool, whether by creating armor from blood, weapons from blood, healing injuries with blood, controlling others' bodies with their own blood, and the list goes on and on and on. The series with the most notable characters with blood manipulation abilities is Dead Man Wonderland. Gunta can compress his blood into a small round object to be fired as a high-speed projectile. Kiyomasa Senji's forearm blood size can attack at the speed of sound. Nagi Kagamine, who bears an odd resemblance to Gilbert Nightray from Pandora Heart, can generate blood spears that explode with tremendous force. Aside from weaponry, blood can, as I said previously, control a number of living things by controlling the blood running through their veins. Though in the case of bloodbenders in the Avatar series, they control the trace of water found in the blood. Blood can also be used to stop bleeding, absorb more blood to gain more strength, clone oneself as shown by Cuckoo Sith from the Marvel Universe. It can be used for teleportation, regeneration, transformation. Jesus Christ. I never knew blood was such a reliable weapon. Man, never again will I mistake a bleeding wound of an enemy of mine as a sign of imminent victory. It could just mean that my fate is probably sealed.
Number 5. Sometimes people have a hairstyle that is so big it seems to speak for itself, and maybe even have a mind of its own. There are characters in the anime world who literally use their hair as an extra appendage, capable of inflicting pain. Characters who can make their mullets become murderous, their pigtails to pick fights, their dress to decapitate. Oh, you get the idea. Hair as a weapon isn't limited to just the head. Armpit hair, chest hair, back hair, eyelashes, or even nose hair, courtesy of the yellow afro failed clone of Black Dynamite, mother Bobo. Or Yami from To Love Ru, who can change your hair into a great assortment of weaponry. Kumadori could form his hair into an actual hand to attack with the famous finger pistol technique. Flare Corona can extend her hair to absurd lengths and is capable of blocking most forms of magic. She can also transform into a wolf and set it on fire. I don't know. So, ladies, next time you're in trouble, you can always rely on the power of your freaky followers of ferocious fury. Number 4.
Just the name makes me shudder. What's worse than a weapon deadly enough to kill you within a fraction of a second? How about a weapon you can't even see that can kill you within a fraction of a second? Without going too far into their background in science fiction, or use in real-world optical electronics, let's just look at the damage they can do in combat. Walter Dornez, from one of my most beloved anime series of all time, Hellsing Ultimate, has demonstrated amazing dexterity and precision when it comes to handling these wires of destruction. Seriously, how many years of intense training does it take to control these things? And imagine the injuries that can come from that. Anyway, these wires are able to cut through pretty much anything, from an entire squadron of ghouls to solid steel, and even on multiple buildings without any trouble at all. The wires Walter uses appear to be blessed, as they glow blue and are able to kill vampires. The wires are able to form mesh-like shields capable of deflecting bullets, and can be used like marionette strings to control another's body. These wires are an incredible weapon, but I must ask, how does Walter wind the wires back into his gloves without even cutting himself or getting one of his fingers severed? And what happens when he gets knots in the lines? So many unanswered questions. But hey, maybe at some point in the near future, the creators will find a way to tie in some explanations. I'm sorry, that was terrible.
Number 3. The Death Notebook is one of the more complex and intriguing weapons on this list. Its function is pretty much self-explanatory. A weapon that causes whomever's name was written in the notebook to die. While it's unknown how Death Notebooks are created, it is shown in the anime that Shinigami, or Death Gods as you might say, use them in their world to kill humans, thus adding the humans' remaining lifespan to their own lifespans. Rogue Shinigami drop extra notebooks into the human world for humans to use, but with great power comes a greater span of specific rules to be followed, and with the Death Note comes a set of intricate and specific rules to be followed. Apparently, to prevent people who share the same name from being killed off by the Death Note, the writer must have the subject's face in mind when writing their names. Also, the Death Note won't work on a person whose name is misspelled 4 times, but if the person who wrote the name purposely misspelled the name, the writer themselves will die. If the same name is written in 2 or more Death Notes within 0.6 seconds, it is regarded as simultaneous, and the Death Note won't take effect. However, the note which was used first will take effect, regardless of the time of death. Death Notes won't affect a person whose name is written on several different pages, but if the first name is written on the front page and the last name on the back, or vice versa, it still counts as one page and the person will still die. Once a person has been selected for Death Notes, it is then up to the writer to give details of the victim's death and be very specific about it. I mean, like NCIS specific. The death must be as realistic as possible and act on accordance to the natural manners of death in the real world. Of all the weapons on this list, the Death Note is by far the most sophisticated, if not frustrating. However, I still can't help but want one of my own.
To die for.
Number 2.
Wow. I warn you guys, this one is a doozy. If you're standing, I advise you to find somewhere to sit down and brace yourself for this. Are you ready? Here we go. What the sweet monkey dancing Christ is that? So yeah, Tanuki testicles. The animated movie Pom Poko is mostly about this family of raccoon dogs, aka Tanuki, and without giving away major spoilers in the movie, it's It involves a scene where the Tanuki magically grow their balls to fight police officers, which is a wink to the Japanese folklore of Tanuki being extremely well endowed. The Tanuki have a method of using their gargantuan gonads. They can stretch their scrotal skin to glide through the sky, swing them like a flailing weapon, body slam opponents and suffocate them, and literally sit on their balls in a sit and bounce fashion and even deflect bullets. But these testes of terror are nothing compared to the number one spot.
Before I reveal my number 1 spot, here are a few weapons that didn't exactly make the list, but still deserve some recognition. These are my honorable mentions.
まったく私もうかつだったわ。まさか
Number 1.
Have you ever found yourself a nice exotic fruit that you've never seen before? So you decide to take a nice big bite out of that fruit, and you find that it tastes like a skunk that's been marinating in its own feces and rotten tomatoes for 3 days. Then suddenly, you find yourself able to transform into a giraffe-human hybrid. You, my friend, have just eaten a devil fruit. Now, of all the weapons on this list, the uniqueness of a devil fruit is quite incredible. And before you say, a devil fruit isn't a weapon, it's just a superpower that you gain from eating a fruit. Well, how about I can tell you that a devil fruit is pretty much every weapon you can think of, all jammed up into one. Don't believe me? How about we look at the string fruits, which can create long string-like weapons capable of severing anything. Sound familiar? Hint, hint, Walter? Or Baby Five's arm fruits, which give her the power to change parts of her entire body into literally any weapon you can think of, from actual pistol hands to a giant cannon to swords to rockets. Oh, what about the shock fruits, which can create massive vibrations or shock waves capable of destroying anything? As stated by Fleet Admiral Sengoku, that Whitebeard holds the power to destroy the world. Whitebeard is literally a walking hydrogen bomb. But why stop at having the power of every weapon in the world, huh? Why not make just random things weapons? Like soap bubbles, or rubber, or your lustful emotions, or shadows, or your own hormones. Oh, what about explosive boogers? Bottom line, devil fruits should be feared as a strange weapon to be used in combat. Thank you all so much for watching. This top 10 list has been fun. If you want to make me a very happy Capri, please click that like button and subscribe for more top 10s and other videos. This list was done to commemorate my love for anime weapons that are worthy of the WTF title. So, if I missed any, please let me know in the comment section below. Again, thanks for watching.